Hi dear traders! Investors took a pause to evaluate the trading situation and develop a further strategy. Although the Fed is raising the key interest rate very aggressively, the US inflation is slackening very slowly. Notably, the Federal Reserve is likely to remain stuck to its approach. While the US economy is cooling down, the greenback is trading near its 20-year highs amid risk aversion. Investors prefer the US dollar to other safe haven assets. In our video review, we will find out what events will shape market sentiment early next week. On Monday, China will report its economic growth pace. The data should have been disclosed last week, but the publication was delayed because of the National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. Pessimists defined this action as an attempt to hide weak figures, not to lessen the effect of the speech provided by Xi Jinping. Nevertheless, economic forecasts remain positive. Economists foresee a 3.5% rise in the country's GDP in the third quarter. In the previous period, the indicator dropped amid the introduction of partial and full lockdowns in some larger cities in China. Now, after the improvement of the epidemiological situation, the Chinese economy is likely to revive, thus boosting the appetite for risk assets and their prices. Also on Monday, analysts at Market Economics will disclose initial PMI figures for the US and the Eurozone's largest economies. The data is likely to reflect the negative trends in Western economies and provide clear signs of a recession. Against the backdrop, traders will switch to safer assets again. What's more, data on the Eurozone's largest economy remains negative. On Tuesday, experts at the InstaForex Institute are going to unveil business climate figures for Germany. According to the forecast, the indicator will continue falling, reflecting the worsening of the economic sentiment in every sector. Such a situation could be explained by the energy crisis, high consumer prices, and interest rates, which could be raised even more. Representatives of the European Central Bank are likely to remain stuck to their hawkish rhetoric, intending to hike the benchmark rate by another 75 basis points at the next meeting. This decision is likely to be taken regardless of the recession risks. The regulator has to take such measures to combat surging inflation. However, in Australia, the central bank decided to raise the key interest rate by 25 basis points instead of 50. Notably, their consumer prices are growing faster than in Europe. What's more, in September, inflation may accelerate, thus forcing the Reserve Bank of Australia to take more radical measures. In this light, demand for the Australian dollar is likely to mount ahead of the more aggressive monetary policy tightening. Later on Wednesday, traders will price in the decisiveness of the Bank of Canada. According to the forecast, the regulator may switch to a more dovish stance and raise the benchmark rate by 50 basis points. However, the likelihood of the 75 basis point hike up to 4% is still very high. The regulator's decision will have a considerable influence on the Canadian dollar. If the Bank of Canada raises the key interest rate to 4%, the national currency will also grow. These events will be in the limelight among traders in the beginning of the next trading week. And we will keep following the events and share information with you. Don't miss our daily news reports and trade with profit. See you!